Let's work on the second application, wherein a manager will use that application to find out the hiked salary, and the input would be current salary and date of joining, and based on date of joining the number of years of experience would be calculated, and based on that the hike would be decided. So if it is more than 20 years of experience, then 3%, 10 to 24%, and less than 10, 5%, or random hike. So I'll use these three. You can implement random hike yourself. Also, we can take input from users. Let's create a class, and I'll name the class as hike generator. And now here what will I do is that I do not need any init function, because there's no need to initialize anything. I have to calculate hike only. So I will create a function or a method named calculate hike, and we'll see what arguments can be passed later on. So what it would do first, it would find out the years of experience, and then based on the years of experience we will calculate the hike, right? So this application would calculate the hike. Currently it says that if the years of experience is more than 20, then use 3% or 4% or 5%. So I'll not hard code it. I will pass a lookup table where the percentages are mentioned, because whenever you change it, let's say the hike is changed, you do not have to change the entire program, just change the lookup table. And I have created a lookup table like this, hike underscore table, and this is a dictionary. There are 3 keys and 3 values. The first key is 20 plus. It is basically the years of experience, and the hike is 3%. The next one is 10 plus, and the hike is 4%. And the next one is 10 minus, which is less than 10 years, then the hike is 5%. Now I'll use this hike table. I'll pass this hike table to this particular function, and then we'll do the calculation. So let me pass the hike table here. Okay, so now there are 2 inputs that we have to give. We have to give the current salary. These are the 2 inputs that we need, and based on this the hike could be calculated. So I think we have to pass these 2 also. So we'll pass the current salary and the date of joining to the function. So now let's write the code here. First we'll have to find out the years of experience, and to find the years of experience, again we'll do the same thing that we did for the previous code. We'll have to import date time, or basically from date time we'll be importing date and date time both, because we'll be using these 2. So these are the 3 instance variables, because this would be different for each of the objects. So that's why I'll have to use instance variables. First, let's calculate the year of experience. And what will I do is that I will create a different function, not a method, but a function. So calculate years of experience, and this would be the function, and we'll pass just the date of joining. Now see, there's no self here, because this is not a method. This is basically a function inside of the code. I'm not defining this function inside of the class, so that's why this is not a method, and we do not need self here, but I'm passing some argument which is date of joining, and it will calculate the years of experience. So it will be today. I will extract the time which is used to strip time, and in date of joining, and the format would be percentage capital I y, percentage small m, and percentage small d. So I'm saying that this is the format that I want to pass. Extract the time, but of course I do not need the time, so I need the date. So I'll extract date, and the function that I want to use is date time dot date, and I'll pass the date of joining. So now date of joining will have the date data type. Similarly, I will use the function datetime dot today, but this has to be converted in date also, because today is in date time format. So I'll have to convert it to date, which is today. So then we can do the calculation, years of experience equal to today minus date of joining, and actually it will give it in days. So I'll change it into years of experience dot days, and I'll convert it to integer, the number of years, and I'll divide it by 365, and then I'll return the years of experience, right? So that's what we want to do. And what will I do here, because this is a function outside of the class, I'll use this function. So I'm defining this years of function, and I'll use calculate years of function and I'll send the date of joining. So I'm creating a different function here, not a method but a function. So it will calculate the years of experience, and then let's do the logic check here. So it would return integer. So I'll have to mention some if logic. So if years of experience is greater than 20, this is the first logic. You'll have to write some code here. Else if, or elif rather, years of experience is greater than 10, then there would be some other logic, else there would be some other logic. So currently it is pass in all the cases. Let's see whether it works or not, and I'll print the years of experience here. Now before that, I'll have to create an object. So employee object, and it would be of class hike generator, and I do not have to pass any argument here. As I said, the reason is there is no init method here. So if there had been init method, then I would have to pass certain arguments, because init method would get executed whenever we initialize an object. So I do not need that, but I would need to do the calculation of the hike. And what I have to pass, I'll have to pass the hike table, current salary and date of joining. So let's say current salary, first of all, I'll pass the hike table. Self is not needed because this will be passed to self. This will be the address of emp_obj will be passed to self, as you already know by now. So I'll pass the hike table and then the current salary and then the date of joining. And let's see whether it is executing properly or not. I'll comment these two, and I'll just pass the current salary as 100,000. The date of joining would be 2024 or maybe 2023 0101. So let's see whether it works or not. I'm not taking any input, I'm passing it hard-coded value just to do the testing. And it is working fine. So it says that the years of experience is 1. That's what it has printed. So now let us go ahead and use the logic. Now what is happening here? I'm passing the hike table, right? So hike table is a dictionary, and these are the keys 20 plus, 10 plus and 10 minus are the values of the hike percentage. So if the years of experience is greater than 20, I'll take the hike percentage from the hike table, which is self.hike table. I'll use the key 20 plus. Okay, and the salary would be self.salary plus self.salary into hike percentage divided by 100, and this should be in bracket. And I will use all of these. The same logic would be applied, but the first one it would be, sorry, for the second one it would be 10 plus, and for the final one it would be 10 minus, and we'll get the value 345. So now if I execute this, the salary would be calculated, and let me print salary. So what would be the salary? I'll test it out, and I'm passing this 100,000. So it is showing me the proper hike, right? So now I have calculated. Let me put it in salary hike. I'll return some value. So salary hike equal to employee object calculate hike. So because I'm using another variable, so I'll have to return some value here. So instead of printing salary, I will return the salary in the method. So now whatever the salary is, I'll get that salary and I'll print it. Hiked salary of this employee is salary hike. So let me comment this too and take the input from the manager, right? So this is what it is. Now if I execute it, what would happen? The program would start from here. It will not start from the method or the class. The class definition would definitely be there. So the class definition would be done. Then the code would come here. It will initialize the hike table. Then it will take the input of current salary and date of joining. And then the employee object would be created. Because I do not have any init method, dunder init dunder method, so I do not have to pass any argument to the class while creating the object. So this employee object has been created, and then I'll be using this calculate hike method, and I'll pass multiple arguments. So it will go to this calculate hike method, and it will get the hike table, current salary, and date of joining. And along with that, it will also get the pointer of the instance or the object. And after that, it will call another function, not a method, because the function is defined outside of the class. So it would be a function, not a method. So it will call a function to calculate the years of experience. I can remove this print, and it will return the years of experience in integer. Once we get the years of experience, then I have built a logic wherein if the years of experience is greater than 20, then I'll read the hike percentage from the hike table which I have passed. So now if I execute, it will return the salary after doing the calculation, and that salary would be captured in this salary hike parameter, and then I'll print it out. But one more thing is that this bracket should not be here, it should be here actually, mathematical function, right? So I'll remove this bracket. All right, so now my program is ready. Let me go ahead and execute this. So it seems like there's some error, hike string. So one of this is string, which is fine. So what is happening here is that the hike percentage is actually coming out as string. So I can change it, convert it to integer. This entire output would be converted to integer. And self salary is also, I guess, integer, but I'll change it. So let me put this one, convert it to integer also. Now let me execute. Okay, so this is what it is. The hike of this employee, hiked salary of this employee would be 156,000. So now I can go ahead and change the hike table. So let's say some company which has become very, very, generous, which highly happens, they have decided to give 30%, 40%, and 50% hike, right? So again, obviously it's a joke, but that's fine. Let us go ahead and execute it again. So the hike salary would be 140,000. So it's 40% hike. This code would be there. Please go through this code, try to understand the class, the method, the function, which is not a method, and then a lookup table that I have created, taking the input from user and initializing or creating an object or a variable. Then I'm using another variable to get the hiked salary. There's one hands-on exercise for you also. It is basically an order application. So you have to create a class for the following. First is you have to take input from user on the product ID based on the table below. So you have to show this table to the user using print, and then you'll have to calculate the discounted price based on the table. So you have the price and the discount, and you can add one or more items in the order. You can skip this part also if needed, and generate a random order ID. So the third one, add one or more items in the order, can be skipped if you want. So once this is done, you use the class and its methods to print the following details. The order ID, which will be randomly generated, product name of all items. So if you are adding one or more items in the order, then you'll have to print the name of all the items. But if you are skipping this, you can skip the product name also, and the total price, discounted price, and today's date. So this is an exercise that I expect you to do using class, methods, functions, and you can use the random module that I have shown you in the previous hands-on.